JB Storytime, walking through the night.
Hey y'all, JB here. Mr. Boyd said, we're studying ancient China and I should read up on some Chinese myths and legends. So I found this book and I'm going to take a look at it and see what kind of myths and legends it's got in it. It's got a whole bunch of other stuff in it too, but I really don't want to see that. I just want to see the myths and legends because there's some cool stuff in here. I already know about the Great Wall because Mr. Boyd told us about that. He said that every culture has myths and legends, and that the Chinese myths and legends come mainly from their three religions, from Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. Well, I don't know about Confucianism. Mr. Boyd says I'm confused all the time. So I might know a little bit about Confucianism, but I never heard of it before. And I don't know what Taoism is either. Or Buddhism. Isn't that the guy with the big belly that you're supposed to rub? I don't know about those religions. It says that many myths contain a mixture of elements from all three religions. So I'm gonna look and see what I can find. I see one here. This one's called Pangu Creates the World. Pangu. That sounds like something nasty that somebody forgot to cook. You didn't clean all the pan goo out of the frying pan when you were washing dishes, JB. For thousands of years, the god Pangu lay in a deep sleep, gathering the strength he would need to create the world. Finally, one day, Pangu woke up and looked about. All around him lay darkness and chaos. Pangu was not pleased. This was not the world he had hoped to find. He lashed out in anger, smashing his gigantic fist into the chaos with an almighty booming sound. Pangu's blow sent the universe reeling, but then the chaos began to settle down and order took its place. The heavy things sank down to form the rocks of earth, while the lighter things floated upward to form the sky. Day by day, the earth and sky kept on growing thicker, deeper, and higher. Fearful that they would collapse, Pangu stood between them, using all of his great strength to hold them apart. As the earth and sky grew, so did Pangu, pushing them further and further apart. When he was sure that they were fixed in place, he lay down again and fell, exhausted, into a deep sleep. I bet he was tired, holding up the whole earth. Pangu never woke up again. As he slept, he died, and the different parts of his body formed the world. His breath formed the wind and clouds. His voice rumbled as thunder. His eyes became the sun and moon, and the hair of his beard became the stars. Great mountains formed from Pangu's vast body. His arms and legs became the 4 points of the compass. His blood flowed out and filled the rivers. His flesh turned into the soil in the fields. Ugh, rivers are made out of blood, and his flesh is the soil. There's people in the dirt. Ugh. Then the hairs on his head took root in the soil and sprouted into trees and flowers. Pangu's sweat turned into rain to water them and formed the morning dew. And so Pangu created the world out of darkness and chaos. That's crazy, man. That's a weird story, but I guess that's how they say the earth came about in Chinese mythology. The goddess in the moon. There's a goddess in the moon. Wonder why she's sitting there. Let's see what she does there. Wonder if that's Rita from Power Rangers. Wasn't she on the moon? She's not a goddess. She's evil. The beautiful goddess, Chang Yi, lived in heaven with her husband, Hoi Yi, the archer. That means he shoots bows and arrows. Their lives were happy and carefree until Hoi Yi shot down the 9 sons Why are you going to shoot down the suns? Then the earth gets cold. Their father, Dinji, was so grief-stricken that he banished them to live on earth as mortals, not as gods. One day, Hoi Yi visited the home of Ji Wang Mu, the queen mother of the West, where he built her a magnificent palace of jade. That's like a green rock. That's a cool looking thing. In return, she gave Hoi Yi a bottle of the elixir of immortality, and with it, his chance to return to heaven. But there was a catch. Isn't there always a catch? Something always happens. Be warned, Queen Ji Wang Mu told him. There's enough elixir for two. But if one person drinks it all, they will leave the world and never return. Heeding her words, Hoi Yi wrapped the bottle in silk and hid it carefully in the roof of his house, but not carefully enough. One day while Hoi Yi was out, Chang Yi noticed a strange glowing light coming from the roof and climbed up to find out where it was coming from. There she found the bottle shining brightly through the silk. Chang Yi could not resist. Despite the warning, she opened the bottle and drank the elixir straight down. Uh-oh. Nobody ever follows the directions. Mr. Boyd tells me I don't follow directions either. I don't know why. It's kind of hard sometimes to remember everything he says. Immediately, the elixir began to take effect. Chang Yi floated up to the ceiling, then out of the door. She was helpless to do anything about it. Higher and higher, she floated until she reached the moon. She has stayed there ever since, with only a hare for company. H-A-R-E, hare. That's like a bunny rabbit. When Hoi Yi discovered what foolish Chang Yi had done, he was filled with dismay. He had lost both his wife and his chance for immortality. But the gods took pity on him. They allowed him to return to heaven. And at the time of the full moon, he is allowed to visit Chang Yi in her palace on the moon. Well, that's pretty cool. Monkey and the Heavenly Peaches. I like monkeys. They're cool. And peaches are okay, but sometimes they taste fuzzy. Long ago, a stone monkey hatched out of a stone egg. How's a monkey hatch out of an egg? That's crazy. The monkey was clever and brave and quickly became the Monkey King. Monkey King? I bet a monkey would look cute with a crown on. He'd be running all around acting crazy. Not content, he wanted to become immortal and begged the gods to tell him how. When they refused, he stole the book of judgments and crossed out his name and the age at which he would die. The gods were furious. They went to the Jade Emperor to complain. We're fed up with his mischief, they said. Something has got to be done. The Jade Emperor decided to give the Monkey King a job to keep him out of trouble. He made him keeper of the Heavenly Peach Garden, where the peaches of immortality grew. Monkey couldn't believe his luck. All went well until the gods held their yearly peach banquet and forgot to invite the Monkey King. Furious, he crept into the garden, picked all the peaches, and gobbled them down. He was immortal at last. The Jade Emperor sent his army to capture him, but by that time he had run far away. In despair, the gods called on the Buddha. The Buddha gave the Monkey King a test. Sounds like the Monkey King is a lot of trouble. He's always doing something crazy. If you can jump out of my hand and across the world, he said, you will become ruler of heaven and take the Jade Emperor's place. No problem, replied the Monkey King, and took a gigantic leap. He jumped right across the heavens, landing at the foot of a tall mountain. Then he bounded back to Buddha's palm. The Buddha said nothing but pointed to his head. The mountain was no further than the tip of one of the Buddha's fingers. The Monkey King was defeated. As punishment, he was locked inside a magic mountain until he was truly sorry for all the wrongs he had done, and the kindly Buddha set him free again. So the Monkey King's free? I wonder if there's any more stories about the Monkey King. I'm going to have to look him up. I like him. He's a cool looking dude. Let's see if there's another story. I see dragons. Mr. Boyd likes dragons. He's got a bunch of dragons in his room. Oh, there he is. There's a dragon story. The Dragon Boy's Pearl. There was once a poor boy who lived with his mother by a river. He earned his living by cutting grass and selling it to people to feed their animals. One hot, dry summer, no rain fell and the soil turned to dust. The boy had to search far and wide to find any grass. By chance, he found a good thick patch. The next day, he went back. To his surprise, the grass had grown back fresh and green. And this happened day after day. But if only it was not so far away. I know, the boy said. I'll dig up a big clump and plant it at home. As he dug, he saw a huge round gleaming pearl lying in the ground. He picked it up, took it home, and gave it to his mother. When he planted the grass in his garden, she hid the pearl in a rice jar. The next day, the grass had withered and died. But thanks to the magic pearl, the rice jar was full. So the boy and his mother put the pearl in their money jar. And the next morning, it was full of coins. They were rich. That pearl's magical. It makes stuff fill up. It kept the grass growing. Maybe he needs to bury it under the grass. But one day, thieves broke into their house. Quick as a flash, the boy put the pearl in his mouth and swallowed it. At once he felt a strange burning. He ran down to the river and began to gulp the water down. As he did so, he sprouted horns and grew scales and a long tail. He was turning into a dragon. With a mighty splash, he dived into the river, never to be seen again. Soon afterwards, the skies opened and a powerful downpour of rain fell on the parched land. The drought was over, thanks to the Dragon Boy's pearl. That's a weird story. The boy turned into a dragon, and then the drought ended? That's weird, man. It'd be cool to be a dragon, though. You could breathe fire and all kinds of stuff. I think that's the last story. I don't know, though. I'm going to flip through and see. Oh, no, there's one more. There's one more story, so let's read this one, too. This one's called The Kitchen God's Wife. The Kitchen God. That's weird. Long ago, Zhao Jun, the kitchen god, lived on Earth as a human being named Zhang. Zhang married a beautiful woman, Gu Ding, who was good, kind, and virtuous. With her help, Zhang did well in his business and soon grew important and rich. But the couple's happiness did not last long. Zhang fell in love with another woman and left his wife. Zhang's not very nice. The gods punished Zhang for his unfaithfulness. He lost his money and went blind. Penniless and homeless, he was forced to go begging on the streets. They didn't like that. One day, Zhang happened to pass the house of his first wife. Taking pity on him, Guoding took him in. Being blind, Zhang did not recognize her, but he was grateful for her kindness. Guoding saw that he looked hungry and cooked him a dish of her favorite noodles. Zhang ate them ravenously. That means he was hungry. He ate them real fast. These are delicious, he told her, just like my wife used to make. Then he started to tell her his story and how sorry he was for what he had done. He began to weep bitter tears. Open your eyes, Zhang, said Guoding gently. And at once, Zhang's sight was restored. The first thing Zhang saw when he opened his eyes was the wife whom he had abandoned long ago. But instead of being pleased, he was filled with terrible shame for the way he had treated her. In fact, he was so overcome with remorse that he threw himself into the kitchen fire, not really realizing that it was lit. Desperately, Geoding tried to save him, but it was too late. After his sad death, Zhang was made an immortal because the gods saw how sorry he was for the wrongs he had done. And so he became Zhao Jun, the kitchen god, and the god's messenger between heaven and earth. That's a weird story. That's a strange one. I don't know about all that. I don't know why that one is. That's the last one. So that's the strange. Those are the Chinese myths. There's probably a lot more that we could probably look up and read later, but that's all I got today. I hope you guys enjoyed JB's story time. Y'all have a good day. Bye.
Neon lights and shadows play in a city where dreams sway. JB stories come alive in a time when heroes thrive. Skies are lit with endless stars, classic cars and electric guitars. Tales unfold under moonlit hue. Adventure waits for me and you. JB Storytime, walking through the night. Brace yourself for a wild flight, from rooftops to the streets below, in the glow of the city's flow. Mystery in every alleyway, courage lights the darkest day. Every tale a brand new page, step into the neon stage. Rebel hearts in denim clad, chasing dreams that they never had. With every song, the night will bloom. In JB's world, there's always room. JB Storytime, walking through the night. Brace yourself for a wild flight, from rooftops to the streets below, in the glow of the city's flow.